Hello. Thank you so much for joining me today. So, one of the coolest aspects of Europe, at least in my opinion, is the train network. I mean, look at this shit. I know this map. These are all the train tracks in Europe. Look at this. This whole thing is entirely covered by it. It's incredible. Imagine being able to hop on a train, go to another country, get lunch, go to France, get dinner, go to Italy, grab a pizza for dessert, because you do that, and go back home to Austria. You don't have to imagine that. You can do that, maybe. I don't know. Maybe that's a little bit of an exaggeration, but given enough time, you definitely could do that. And that's pretty freaking amazing to me. That's hard to fathom, getting to another country on a train. I mean, I've never even been on a train, period. Anyway, these are the 5 best itineraries. Whatever that means. I think it's like coolest train routes in Europe, basically, right? It's by Bright Trip. Check them out, link down below. Let's do it.
With all the different railways, trains and service options available throughout Central and Western Europe, there are countless possibilities for creating the European train journey that's right for you. Again, it depends on what you're looking for and what your travel needs are. Here are 5 potential itineraries that you can take. Number 1, Switzerland. The Swiss railway network is the densest in Europe, covering approximately 3,241 miles or 5,216 kilometers of railway. In terms of length of track per square mile, Switzerland is 2.5 times over the European average.
Interesting. I would have thought, it makes sense that a small country would have the most dense train tracks, but I would have thought something like Luxembourg would have, just given how small it is, just one train going through it, you'd think might do it. I don't know. Anyway, that's interesting.
This means you can travel effortlessly between Swiss towns and cities any day of the week. Geneva in the morning, Zurich for lunch, St. Gallen in the evening, why not?
I knew one of those cities.
Let's see what this can look like. After having an early breakfast in Geneva, you can catch an SBB train to Zurich with a journey time of roughly 2 hours and 45 minutes.
That's it?
I'd recommend getting this train no later than 10 AM, so you arrive in Zurich no later than 1 PM. From there, you can find a nice lunch spot, perhaps overlooking Lake Zurich. Once you've finished, you can board an SB.
It's not even a joke. What I just said earlier about going someplace, getting lunch, going to another place, you can actually do it.
Train to St. Gallen, which only takes between 1 and 1.5 hours, depending on the route and any station changes.
You can get across all of Switzerland in 3 hours.
You should easily be able to make it there for a lovely evening dinner. Swiss trains offer the Swiss Day Pass, which you can take all over the country at your own pace. Rather than getting individual tickets for the journeys that I just described, you can purchase one Save-A-Day Pass for the entire route.
How much?
Save-A-Day passes have great value. They don't need validation or seat reservations. You just turn up and go wherever you like within the GA travel area. A Save-A-Day
What if all the seats are taken?
Pass like this is available up to 60 days in advance in first or second class, with prices starting from 29 Swiss francs. Be aware.
I don't know how much a franc is. Let me see. 29 francs to USD. Hey, I spelled franc right. It's a small win, guys. 35 US dollars. Nice.
That these tickets can sell out, so be sure to book sooner rather than later. Also, be careful which pass you buy. When you book, there will be an option for a with half fare travel card or without the half fare travel card. The half fare card gives you a 50% discount on the boat, rail and post bus network in Switzerland for an entire year. It is mainly marketed towards people living in Switzerland, and rightly so. Because if you're just visiting the country for a few days or even a few weeks, the half fare card won't be worth the money you'd spend. As I've mentioned many times in this guide, Swiss trains and the landscape
So you get half off for the year, but they're pricey up front.
they traverse are incredible. So whether you're looking to go on your very first European train journey or are looking to reconnect with adventure, Switzerland has endless options. 2. Heading to Croatia by train. Croatia is one of my favourite countries because it's a great alternative
I'm trying to imagine, I want to go to Croatia today. Just hop on the train. That'd be cool.
to popular holiday destinations like Switzerland or Italy at a much lower price.
Because, I mean, driving is one thing. Like, driving isn't bad in terms of, like, time and cost. It's not that bad. But in terms of having to stay awake and alert and do it the entire time for a road trip, it's really annoying.
Croatia can easily be reached by train with connections from France, Germany and Austria. Here's what this itinerary looks like. You depart Paris Gare de l'Est at 15:55 and take an almost 6-hour journey east to Munich Hauptbahnhof, Germany, arriving at 21:36.
It would take me 6 hours just to get across Indiana. It's crazy to think. From Paris to Munich.
From there, you'll have basically 2 hours for
That's an exaggeration. Getting across Indiana might take 3 hours.
snacking and stretching your legs before your next train. At 23:20, you board the sleeper train from Munich to Zagreb, which gets you there at 8:30 in the morning. If you wake up about 7 a.m. before arrival, you might get to view some of the beautiful Slovenian countryside. Although most people tend to skip Zagreb and head straight down to Split or Dubrovnik, I recommend spending at least a night in Zagreb. In my opinion, it's one of the most underrated European capitals. Zagreb has a fantastic old town and fascinating Yugoslav-era architecture, which, if you've never been to Croatia before, makes for a great introduction to the country. For planning this journey, you can book through the Deutsche Bahn, Trainline and Omeo websites. It is possible to book the sleeper from Munich to Zagreb on its own, and if this is...
You can do it while you sleep. See, that's the difference between this and a car. You literally go on the train, sleep, wake up, you're there. Crazy. You wake up, they're speaking a new language. I can't imagine that.
what you want to do, you're best off using the OBB Nightjet website. Technically, the train you take won't be an OBB Nightjet train, but a different sleeper train with some carriages from Croatia. But don't worry, Nightjet only partners with high-quality, like-minded operators, so you can be assured of a high standard of service. 3. Paris
How much are they paying you, bro? I'm just kidding.
to Sicily. This is one of my favourite itineraries. On this journey, the train actually boards a ferry between Sicily and mainland Italy.
What?
This is Europe's only remaining passenger train ferry that operates all year round, so it's quite a unique experience. You'll want to
Do
leave
you stay on the train on the ferry?
Paris Gare de Lyon at 0726 on a Frecciarossa, which has 4 classes of travel. From basic economy to luxury executive class, with prices to match the level of service. Much of this route is on dedicated high-speed lines, but the highlight is the long, slower section through the Alps, which takes several hours. The entire journey takes almost 7 hours in total.
That
You'll
would just be beautiful, wouldn't it?
arrive in Milan in time for a late lunch or an early dinner, and then catch the 2010
Crazy.
departure, heading to Palermo and Catania to head to Sicily. Want more luxury in the sleeper? Easy.
Yeah,
Take a high-speed Frecciarossa, Milan to Rome, and get the 2031 departure to
Are you paying?
Palermo, with ensuite XL Soir sleepers available from €150. Paris to
Wow, all the way down the coast. What a beautiful sight that would be.
Milan is a Frecciarossa train, and it can be booked via Trenitalia or the third-party operators we've talked about earlier. The Milan-Sicily leg of the journey can also be booked via the Trenitalia website or those third-party sites we mentioned earlier. And remember, this won't be the fastest way to get to Sicily, but it will be an experience you won't forget. 4. Paris to Vienna by sleeper train. Another great route starting in Paris is boarding the Nightjet in the evening and waking up all the way over here in Vienna, ready to explore a new
I just can't believe that's real.
city, culture and country. This is a great option because you can explore 2 very different
This might be the coolest thing about Europe, the more I think about it.
European cities on the same trip, and you don't lose a day of travel time. Even if you took this route by plane, you'd lose a morning or afternoon for a journey that would take in excess of 5 hours. This 14 to 15 hour
bad.
journey departs from Paris around 7 p.m, passing through Strasbourg, Munich, Salzburg, Linz and St. Pölten before arriving into Vienna around 10 a.m. And after an opportunity to sleep, you will feel ready to kick off your adventures in Vienna. You can purchase tickets via the main operators, Nightjet and SNCF, or you can also find tickets through Trainline. Do note that this service only runs on certain nights, usually Tuesdays, Fridays and Sundays. I'd recommend purchasing a bed option with your ticket.
Unfortunately, I don't live in Europe, so it doesn't matter.
But if you really
I'm playing pretend right now. I'm pretending.
need to stick to a budget, you can get a seated ticket for about €29, which is equivalent to
I just get to sit here and be jealous.
a night in a hostel dorm. Your other options,
What did he just say? 20? Wait, what?
a bed option with your ticket. But if you really need to stick to a budget, you can get a seated ticket for about €29,
29 euro.
which is equivalent to a night in a hostel dorm.
Really?
Your other options are a bed in a couchette or a
That's it.
private room, some of which are deluxe sleepers that come with an ensuite shower. The price of the sleeper accommodations range from €50 to €200, about the same as a standard
bad.
hotel room,
Not
which
bad.
is well worth it to wake up refreshed in a new city, ready to explore. Book this OBB Nightjet train in advance to secure the best price and be aware that they do sell out. When booking, remember to look at the prices on both third-party tickets
Compared to something like a plane, and trying to sleep on a plane sucks. Like, I don't know what these sleeper trains look like, but, you know, like here in the States, if you're trying to travel, you know, I mean, if I'm trying to go to freaking Nevada or something, I pretty much have to take a plane. And it's not a super short plane ride either, you know? And it's crammed as hell. Or I could drive 14 hours.
sites and on Nightjet's own site. 5. City hopping around Europe. Because the railway system across Europe is so great, my last suggested itinerary is crisscrossing the continent and taking in several of the major cities in one go. For example, to film this guide, we
I
started
absolutely would love to do that.
in Paris, made our way to Frankfurt in Germany, and ended in Zurich in Switzerland. In 5 days, we visited
Crazy.
3 cities in 3 different countries, which is not something that can be done easily on any other continent. An itinerary that I
Man, he was really walking around like he owned the place there.
which is not something that can be done easily on any other continent. An itinerary that I recommend for this type of adventure is Paris, Amsterdam, Berlin. These cities
Is that one really that straight? All these other ones have been, you know, curved. I think the map guy might have just got lazy on this one, I'm not going to lie.
Berlin. These cities have their own unique charms, which means you can easily spend 2 or 3 days in each one before moving on to the next city. Paris to Amsterdam is doable via the Thalys high-speed service, which gets you there in just over 3 hours. This train has 3
Who knew? Paris to Amsterdam in 3 hours. Paris to Amsterdam. See, I've got that American mindset. I really do, where it's like, I've thought about, you know, it'd be cool to go to Amsterdam. I've never thought, hey, I could go to Paris and Amsterdam.
travel classes, which gives you plenty of choice for how much comfort you want to pay for. Again, those options are standard class, which is your ordinary second class. There's comfort, which involves seats in a first class carriage, but no service. And then there's premium, seats in a first class carriage with hot meals and attendant service. After some time in Amsterdam, you can then take the high-speed ICE to Berlin, which takes about 6 hours. This is a full-service express train and contains a restaurant car, which I definitely recommend visiting. To purchase tickets for the
You
Paris
get to go to a restaurant while on the train.
to Amsterdam leg, you can book through Thalys itself, or through Trainline or Omeo.
Not fair.
And for the service between Amsterdam and Berlin, you can book through Deutsche Bahn or NS International, which is the national Dutch railway service. But be aware that you can't choose your seat when booking through the Dutch company's website. City hopping is a really popular way to explore Europe by train because it's such an easy and comfortable way to get around. Whether you stick to exploring just one country or you choose to traverse the continent across several cities, you'll be sure to have a great time travelling by train. I hope these itineraries have given you some inspiration for the types of journeys you can take and provided you with the confidence to tailor your very own European train adventure.
For sure. It was a great video. Check them out. Bright Trip, link down below. That was very interesting. That made me pretty jealous. I'm not going to lie. That was very cool. Maybe here in America they could start building this type of train network, and by the time I'm dead, it would almost be done. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching.